Hi there. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We have our first proper cross-examination of this game, and it happens to involve two of our good friends, Inspector Hosonaga and Suzuki Natsume. Although, they claim to have witnessed my client and best friend, apparently, doing a murder, so kind of puts us at odds, but that's kind of our job to get down to the bottom of things, so let's dive right in.
Hold it!
In that jaunty disguise? Correct. Wait, no. I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn this swimsuit for a dip in the ocean. It's tried and tested. Including the turtle? I mean, come on. I still want to know why you have a turtle on your head. And also why you're still coughing up blood. Like, it's been a while, it's been like some months now. Are you sure you're okay? And and not dying still? I can't help but wonder. Do what must be done, and do what must be done to keep the Englishwoman under surveillance. Those are my orders that day. And this tried and tested outfit was the answer? Being able to blend flawlessly into a crowd is an important part of a detective's job. I submerged myself in the salty water, leaving only Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. So you call him Mr. Turtle, then, do you? Also, geez, I hope you can fucking hold your breath for long periods of time. Mr. Turtle loves the water. But there was no need for you to blend into the background on this assignment, really, now was there? If that made you late arriving on the scene, I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong. Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment. I don't want to make the guy, cough up a lung. He tends to, his fits tend to flare up whenever he gets agitated, so we gotta be mindful of that.
Hold it!
Also, if you're trying to blend in, isn't the swimsuit itself good enough? Do you really need to tie a turtle to your head and hide underwater to make people think you're not there? Not sure, quite curious. But oh well, you're a funny guy. Ah, you're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Suzuki-san? In more literary terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Kia! Or, or the like, I suppose. Of course, that's just a metaphor. We renowned authors all want to describing things so. Yeah, that's definitely a literary thing that people do when they want to be literary. Suzuki-san wasn't at all like this in England. Anyway, I spun around the noise, and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze. Yes, the beach hut. Was there perhaps pizza in the general vicinity? The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. It is a pretty nice-looking place. I mean, it's kind of small, but, it's nice. Was there a fucking... what is it? Oh, it's probably just more rocks and, twigs and shit. I thought there was, a bones of some kind. And look, there's a crab behind the text barrier. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure, erected as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun. Yeah, I mean, that's normally how huts work, I suppose. Although, the Englishwoman can commandeer the hut for herself. Which meant that I was forced to change into my swimwear on the sand. Jeez. Ah, I imagine that was rather embarrassing for you. Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run. Or, in more literary terms, I decrabbed and beetled off hut-wise. I'm pretty sure decrab is not a fucking word, my dude. Can beetle off? Okay, I mean, I can imagine how that would work, but decrabbing? I don't know about that one, pal. Crabbed. Of handwriting, ill-formed and hard to decipher. His handwriting is crabbed and hideous. Okay, so you can be crabbed as an adjective, but using it as a verb is poor form, literary guy. You ran to the beach hut at once where you found the pair in question. Okay, cool. Tell me more, please. Also, why didn't Ray tell me about this before the trial began? Like, I really like it when my defendants tell me about things that could potentially incriminate them before, so I don't have to find it out in the middle of a trial, you know? Just saying. Wait, by pair, you don't mean to say... But how could that be? No, you misunderstand. Obviously, I mean the victim and the defendant. Remember-san. Remember me, san. Oh, it would have been helpful if you could have just said that from the outset. I kind of thought that was implied, though. Like, who else was going to be there? Like, what other pair would it be? If you jump to conclusions, you have to expect to fall flat on your face sometimes. I mean, yeah, that's good advice. You know, if you assume the worst too quickly, it can often make you look a little bad, you know. Hey, what was the outside chance? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what pair they meant. Like, I'm not sure who else it could have been besides the victim and my girl Ray San. But whatever. Dear me, pinning your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish. Very foolish. It really was an outside chance. I just wish I'd realized that before I said something silly. Again, I don't see what other person it could have been. You didn't elaborate. But, well, whatever, it's not a big deal. So, Inspector, why don't you tell the court how exactly you found the aforementioned pair in the hut? Well, it was a sorry sight. A really grisly scene. I found it quite unbearable. I parted the northern curtain hanging in the doorway and stepped inside, only to see the defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body of the victim, sprawled on the sand. Okay, yeah, that's more labored coughing I'm used to. My glasses very nearly cracked at the ominous sight that met my eyes. How thoroughly appalling! Well, it sounds like you saw her leaning menacingly over the lifeless body, but that didn't sound like the words "I saw her stab the guy" or girl. Just point it out there, you know. Ugh. He doesn't appear to be lying here. Well, Soseki-san, can you confirm what Inspector Hosonaga is saying, I wonder? Ah, you'd like a literary man's opinion. Yes, that young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. Okay, well that's a little more,
Hold it!
damning. Would you care to elaborate, my good man? Stabbed wildly? You actually saw her do it? Oh, indeed! The terrible spectre! The terror-headed spectre! The bloody torment! The author's torment! Okay, that one's actually pretty good. It was over the top, and it actually rhymed. Spectre, Inspector, Torrent, Torment. Well, yeah, kind of rhymed. I'm pretty sure. Eek! Man, they should call... Man, Terrapin Inspector should be my fucking title in the world. Every sight and every sound is still carved in my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least. And the future a literary sensation, of course. Council! What on earth was that shrill, effeminate scream? Oh, no. No. What are you insinuating? I'm as manly a Japanese man as you! I wonder if I might interject here, Suzaki-san. Something you said is troubling me. That was my impression. Well, your words just now, I believe. Yeah? That's a good point. Ah! So, do you mean to say you're not confident that you really did see what you described? Damn, don't get all twitchy on me now, dude. No! I mean, yes! I know what I saw! My ears didn't deceive me when I heard that scream. Hence, my eyes didn't deceive me either. I could describe everything I saw vividly. I could publish it all in tomorrow's newspaper serial. Okay, well, if you seem confident, at least. It sounds as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may take a macabre turn. Also, pretty sure installment is spelled with 2 L's. Fucking awful game, trash, burn it in a fire, 0 out of 10. Too many, not enough L's. I think this is a fool's errand. The more we press your author friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become. Yeah, it's like the fucking backfire effect. Or the Dunning-Kruger effect. You know what I mean? Oh dear. How awkward. Oh well, there's no helping it. I saw blood on the blade, and it proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. Okay, this is the line that stuck out to me when I first saw it last time. So please, tell me a little bit more about that. She was stabbed multiple times? How can you be sure of that? Very simply, from the blood on the blade. The blood? Hope it is not Giselle's blood. When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding the blade raised up in the air. Yes, yes, that's right. I saw it too. Oh. And I noted that there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim had already been stabbed at least once by the time I arrived on the scene. Yes! Yes! That's right! I saw it too! And the victim was already holding the defendant's fountain pen in her hand as well. All which means I can be sure the victim did not die instantly. I mean, it's not, you can't really prove that. Like, let's say she was holding a fountain pen while being stabbed, and then she, like, clenched on the fountain pen because, you know, pain and stuff makes you, like, clench up. And then she'd, like, died with the fountain pen in her hand. I don't really think that's, like, a foolproof conclusion to come to, is all I'm saying. Yes! Yes! Right! I saw it too! Maybe a year in London was too much for him. It sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese. Yeah, maybe. The logic of your argument is sound, at least. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, if you saw someone, with blood on a knife, and you saw that the victim had been stabbed, like, it is a reasonable conclusion, I suppose. Well, as I said, it is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Perhaps it should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly. Oh yeah, get fucked, Hosonaga! Even though, I mean, I like you just fine, so, maybe that was a little cruel, but Still, you get fucked, I guess. That's just my personal opinion, of course. Counsel, you will refrain from mocking the witness. Yeah, I don't want him to fucking bring out the turtle, kick your fucking ass. That turtle looks like he means business. Oh no! I just have so many thoughts whirling around in my head. It's all I can do to stand here, wide-eyed and mute. Goodness, my dear. You really must try to calm down. But how am I supposed to find an inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie. What you must remember, I think, is that witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. For various reasons. Misunderstanding, mistaken observation, a delusion even. You know, it happens to the best of us, right? A delusion, I see. What's important is that we determine the truth. And there's only one sure way to do that. Yes, with evidence, of course. Spoken like a true judicial assistant. Yeah, that's what we out here now. Let's see, we can present with R1, yada yada. We know that pretty well at this point. So you need to listen carefully to each statement and compare what's said to the details in the court record. You find some conflicting information that may be the consistency you're looking for. Sorry. Yes, it's all about inconsistencies. Once you've identified a witness's statement that appears to conflict with a piece of evidence, present the evidence to the witness with triangle, and the way ahead will present itself to you, I'm sure. Yes! Alright then. Yeah, consider the details of all the evidence against each statement to find inconsistencies. I hope I'm up to the task. Don't forget that you can have the witnesses repeat their statements as many times as you like. Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember? So those wide eyes are quite forgivable. And besides, there's no one else to defend the poor girl, so, you're kinda all we got. So, don't fuck up. You're right. I need to listen to testimony again from the start. Yeah, that's how these games work. Now, like I said, the thing about the multiple times victim stabbing, that I find to be quite curious when you consider that only a single wound was identified from the post-mortem report. Explain yourself, Inspector, you coughing asshole! Oh shit, did we just activate Stabwound? Was that accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me? I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench, the stakes have been very, very high indeed. Oh yeah, look at that. We got a theme. Your character theme, I suppose. Not bad. What's the meaning of that menacing pose, Counsel? I'd like the witness to clarify something for me. Who? What? Where? When? How? Not you, Suzaki-san. This query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga. At me? In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yes, that's right. As I said, when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon. And yet, that cannot be! What? Get to the point, please. Counsel, like, I got places to be, you know? Oh, look at that, she's got her book! Even in her Ryotaro persona, she's got her fucking book that has all the information that you could ever want in life. Isn't that cool? In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only. Ah! No! Blech. In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is a fucking lie! Oh, okay, well. It's clearly flawed! Ooh, yeah, that's also a nice little theme. I don't know, motif, I don't know what you call it. I guess a new game is gonna have some new songs and new remixes and such. Gah! And Soseki-san, me? You claim to have seen Mimbambi-san in the throes of stabbing the victim. Yes, I did. Wildly, even, I would suggest. But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point, that there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding. Yes. And, what's that got to do with anything, pal? It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there's no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred. Gah! True! Then what exactly is your contention, counsel? Are you ever going to tell us? Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Soseki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body. That can't be! Excellent work, Susato. I'm not sure if that's really much of a, I mean, it doesn't exactly change the thrust of the argument, but, you know, it's a start. And as we say, one lie begets another. Once you unravel the web of lies, the truth is bound to appear. And such. You exploded at them without objection, and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically. You exposed their weaknesses in front of God and everyone, and made them look like utter fools. Good work, Susato. By the way, I need to examine something real quick. Oh, okay. I guess he dab, sort of, almost a dab. And also a guy's riding a bike. Good for him, I guess. But also Kitty. Look at this, look at this. Look at that, Kitty. It's a good shit right there, pal. What are you holding in your hand, by the way? Is that like a stapler? A fan? A stapler that also serves as a fan? Okay, not really sure how that really counts as evidence, but, cool. And then, yeah, there's the fountain pen that we cannot actually look at.
Objection!
Anyway.
Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in that trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection attempting to steal the show.
You're right. There were certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who has only half a head of hair. Damn, talk about a you don't gotta do it to him like that.
Slander! My head is quite adequately dressed! In any case, all this talk of stabbing, withdrawing, and multiple wounds, it makes not a jot of difference.
What? Why not? I mean, realistically, if what he saw was the moment the blade was being removed, like, that's not exactly a foolproof explanation. It's not proof that she didn't stab her if all you saw was the person removing the blade, you know? I feel like that's gonna be what he's gonna say, or at least something along those lines.
Engage your brain, young man! When the accused first plunged a deadly weapon into the victim, that was a fatal blow. And it was at that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood because the accused had already stabbed the victim. Yeah, see, that's about what I expected him to say. Because, I mean, that would be my natural conclusion as well, but, you know. Ah! Still, it's a, you know, it's a start. All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustache author is prone to moments of extravagance. Gah! I mean, again, you know, he's a nervous guy, you know, we don't want to get him all twitchy and such now. I am in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, then, well, that doesn't bode well for her, you know. That is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion. But if she was withdrawing the blade, then we are back where we started. Sorry. Consider this. A hint of the century. Consider this. The trip, or fuck, I forgot the next line. Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl's innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too. The prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good. And also, I would like an explanation from Ray to explain her actions, but, you know, we can't always get what we want, now can we? Why did Ray pull out the knife? Oh wait, I got my voices mixed up. Ah, yes, going for the jugular. What does Father mean by that? Let the court hear your answer then, counsel. The truth is, I don't fucking know. Like, what is that? You think it's my job to know shit? Come on, man. Head empty, no thoughts. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could, stab her again. I know that's contradictory to what I just said, but fuck it. She's a cold-blooded murderer. I agree with the prosecution. Send her to jail. Goodbye, Ray. It's been nice knowing you. Well, this is only one possible answer, but could it have been so she could stab the victim again? Pardon? Isn't there a saying? If someone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the left also. Isn't that the Bible? Ryotaro, what the fuck are you getting at, you dumb lady? I mean, guy. Or rather, what are you doing? Do you realize what a hole you're digging? That was dumb. It must be the pressure of being here. I'm starting to say things I don't mean. Or you're at the behest of someone who likes seeing wrong answer dialogue. Quite a slap in the face for the woman you represent. You yokels and your heavy-handed ways. No, I didn't. That was just an example, okay? A mere musing. I didn't mean that's what happened. I suggest you take a moment to consider your answer next time. Before you speak, counsel, okay? Yes, Your Excellency. Thank you for allowing me another chance. Now, the reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could... I mean, I don't know, it could be either one of these things. Save her life? I mean, that makes our client look nice, right? So, let's go with that. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant. Oh, that's correct. It's thought that she would remain conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury. Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer.
The point is, being a medical research assistant, Minbami-san was compelled to act when faced with a wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. What? Come on, guys. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel. Indeed. Ugh. Is that just me? Or does it suddenly feel much colder in here? Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness, if you please. I would like another opportunity to testify. In response to the assertion just put forward by the Yokel Defense Council, I mean. The slipshod? Fish! Ha! Ha! An excellent idea, Inspector. Our young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense. Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the Defense Counsel's assertion. Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly. Huh. Okay, I thought I was getting a penalty there for a second, but I guess I was right, even though Inspector Hosanagi is going to prove me wrong, apparently. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. I mean, yeah. I suppose that's fair. Is what you just said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Yes. Think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed. Oh, I see.
Ha! This is why yokels should stay on the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it.
Oh, geez, excuse me. I don't go around stabbing people for a living, so... I mean... sue the fuck out of me, I guess. Oh, well... I never stabbed anyone, you see. Or pulled a blade out of a wound, so... Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit. Father, is it true what they're telling me? Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. If he were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways. I mean, yeah, if it's your job to know about these things, being, saying you don't know basic shit like that would, even if it was like protect you in a legal sense, it would kind of make you look incompetent and not good, generally speaking. But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett? I don't know. I'm not the fucking protagonist here. This game ain't called fucking Yujin Makotoba, Ace Attorney, Ace Forensic Professor guy. Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me, which is like not something a best friend should do. Like, geez, bestie. It seems almost impossible to believe, but could my friend actually have... Susato! Yes, pull yourself together, man! We mustn't lose sight of why we're here. Ah. Counsel, It's time for your cross-examination. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards. I understand. Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. Yeah, it's tricky business to be sure. Well, we got another new testimony done, or a new cross-examination to go through. But I think we can save that for next episode. Once again, I'm kind of surprised, because I thought picking that second option, from the way they were talking, I thought it was going to give me a penalty right away, but turns out that was the right answer. Then again, I guess it makes sense, because if I said, oh, she's trying to hide the knife, like, that would just make her look more guilty, so... I guess it kind of it makes sense it's the right option, but I still wasn't expecting it to go right into another testimony. But hey, such is life. Either way, things aren't looking too good for Ray, and also, why didn't you tell us about the knife? God damn it, I really don't like it when my clients hide shit or don't tell me the full story until it's, like, dramatically convenient. And look, I know, obviously that's how writing works. It's not a serious knock, it's just a basic observation on my part. But anyway, next time we will deal with this cross-examination as it happens. But until then, I will see you around.